Yo! I haven't ever done a shop tour before, and I haven't ever did a YouTube video. Welcome to my shop. It is a 16 by 16, pretty small compared to other people's even 2-car garages, because that's usually 20 by 20. I'm in a 16 by 16, and I build furniture out of here every day. So I'm going to spin you around, show you what everything looks like, and let's get this thing kicked off. So the first thing you see when you walk into the door to the left, behind the door, is my finishing area. I keep all my paints and lacquers and stains, all the protections for everything, and my cleaning supplies and glue. So I like to keep it back behind the door because when the door is open, it was already a dead space because the way that I positioned the door when I built the shop. So it kind of keeps everything out of the way. I still need to build doors for it just to keep the dust out of it because it is kind of a pain in the butt, but hey, it works for what it is. It's better than on the floor or sitting in my old shelf that I had. So the next thing, right after the finishing area, is where I keep my JBS 14 jet bandsaw. Thing is awesome. I got a 3/8 blade on it now, I believe. Kind of do some slight little curves on it, and then you can also do a little bit of resawing as well. It's not ideal for it, but it works for me. I don't do too much resawing, but when I do, it's awesome. And I usually cut legs like these with it, so it does a pretty good job. And then this is my Laguna SS14. Kind of a newer spindle sander on the market. You really don't have any videos on YouTube. It would be cool if someone actually did a review on this, because whenever I was going to buy it, I didn't have anybody to watch a video on it. I watched some guy from a different country, but he didn't even talk English. It was kind of hard, but I like the way that everything looked, and it is a pretty solid sander. It's one of those tools that you really don't use much, but whenever you do need it, it's nice. Alright, so moving on down the line. Just keep my fan and my leaf blower, which I like to blow out the shop every couple weeks just to keep the dust off of everything. And then you come to my charging station. And to keep all my screws down through there and fasteners. Nothing really too cool to show down there. This is my assembly table. I actually have everything on, I guess you could say, cheaply made drawer slides. Works out really well. I had a couple videos on my Instagram if you want to see how I did this. I mean, it's literally slides really smooth, and all the drawers are packed with stuff. So I didn't clean it up, the drawers, for this video. I don't really care about them because they really don't get used that much. This is the one that I use a lot more, and everything's a lot more organized. And underneath my assembly table is where I keep all my random tools that I don't have a spot yet for it. Just like my routers, my nail guns, and extra dominoes, and my Fuji 5 sprayer. It's not the Q, it's the Semi, or something 5. It's the 5-stage turbine though. Works really good. So that's that under there. And moving on from there, I have my ever so small but kind of a big collection of woodpecker squares and rulers, and I use them every once in a while. But these ones down through here, I pretty much use on a daily basis. These ones are just nice to have for doing small layouts and stuff. I like to keep them on the end of my assembly table because if I want to spend that much on a couple squares and straight edges, you might as well show them off. And moving on is my Jet 6-inch joiner. I upgraded from the straight knives to the heel head. It just is, it's so much more quiet, and it just cuts amazing. So the last joiner that I had straight knives, and I didn't want to do straight knives again, so I instantly upgraded. And now my table saw. It is probably my least favorite tool in my shop right now. It's the Delta 36725 T2. I had the first version of it, the T1, and I sold it, and then I bought the T2. Probably the worst decision that I've ever made. There are so many problems with this saw. People, you have to buy a kit just to keep it from screwing up on you. I mean, if you have to do that for a brand new saw, why would you buy it? And Delta is not doing anything to fix it. So if I was you guys, do not buy the Delta 36725 T2. Save up a little bit more and get something else. It's better than a portable contractor saw, but because it is still a contractor saw technically, but it's good, but then it's also got a lot of bad things to it too. And then also what I don't like in the shop on this side is I haven't added the plywood to the walls yet. I'm going as I go, just to keep the prices down. And you guys know how much plywood is right now. I started on the other walls while plywood was cheap, and I should have just got it for all these walls. Bad idea, but I'm gonna have to wait a little bit because I'm not spending like $30 a sheet. Yeah, no way. So, on my Festool collection, I got the Domino XL, the TS55 track saw, the Rotex 125, and the ETS 125 sanders. I really don't keep them in the sustainers. I actually keep them on top. I do keep my track saw and the Domino actually in there just because I don't have any place to store them, but I use my sanders all the time, every single day, all the time. So it's just best just to keep those out. And then actually, I cleaned up and threw away all of my scrap wood. I had so much in this area. It was so bad. It was terrible. So before I started filming this video, I decided, hey, let's make it look nice in here. Let's throw away, because I had this whole entire section of the wall completely filled with scrap. And I use a lot of red oak in my tables because that's what I usually primarily build, is tables and chairs and stuff. And I can't really use red oak for anything. You can't use them for cutting boards and stuff. So the wood that I use is really, if it's not more than like 2 foot, 3 foot long, I'm just gonna start throwing away. Now my maple strips and stuff, I can use those for cutting boards around Christmas. I'll keep it for that. So this is that area. And then I have the DeWalt 725 or DW 725 planer on the stand. Look out for the sales in this, because they usually cost, you know, what, $600-700. I think I got it for $550 from Rockler around Christmas time, and it comes with the stand too. So keep an eye out for the good sales on that. I don't have dust collection in my shop as well, so I use actually a 2-stage pillowcase. It works really good. I've seen other people use the pillowcases on the planer, but the dust that comes through is still really bad for you. I do use a respirator, but it doesn't work, so I actually use 2 pillowcases, some old pillowcases, and it actually seems to keep the dust down pretty good. So I do need to get dust collection in the future, and I will, but for now this works perfect for this. And to the next area, this is where I keep my track saw rail, and then I got the miter saw. I like the smaller miter saws. I don't like the big old sliding ones, because miter saws really aren't that accurate in the first place. Maybe the Festool K-Pex is, but the DeWalt's and stuff, yeah, they're decent, but they're not good on dust collection either. I don't like the sliding ones, because once you start to get into sliding motions, you start to have more moving parts, and it causes more problems. So I really just use that for breaking down larger pieces of wood, and then use the table saw to do any kind of miters or anything. So underneath I got the CT15 Festool vac. I use that for, you know, whenever I'm drilling holes for, or drilling holes, mortises, sorry, for, you know, the dominoes and stuff. And I also use it for the dust collection for this. I'd like to be able to pick up another one, because these things are like $350, and man, there were some really good vacuums. Okay, so I kind of am zoomed out a little bit in this area, because this is where I do all my assembly work. That's why I don't keep anything really on the walls. I do keep my clamps over here, because it's where I do assemblies. I got a pair of sawhorses right here in the corner as well, because then whenever I'm gluing up a tabletop or so, I'll unclaps those, and then I'll collapse them back down once the table's glued up and the base is done, and get all that over there. So I like to keep this area of my shop just strictly for doing assemblies, and if it's raining outside and I need to spray something, I'll actually can bring those sawhorses outside, get it sprayed. But yeah, I like to keep this side of the shop just for assembly, because I am in a small shop and I just need this, I don't know, almost half, almost maybe a little bit more than a quarter of just this area just for that. So that's why there's nothing on the walls, because I used to have a couple things on the walls, and guess what happened? Something fell off the wall onto a table and dented it. So I believe in don't keep anything in that area, because if you have something fall on your piece, you're gonna be pissed. And of course, I gotta give the shout out to Green. He made this sign for my shop. It is just incredible. I like to support other makers. If they're good, I will always give them shout outs, because I mean, it is just some good quality work, and it's not that expensive. You would think this would be, you know, $500-600. No, not that expensive. Go check him out on Instagram and even maybe Facebook page. But had to throw that in there because that sign just looks great and I just got it. So, and we're getting close, guys. It's a small shop, so it goes quick. This is where I keep all my Bessie clamps. I'm weird and I don't like to mix different brands of clamps. If I'm gonna stick with one, I'm gonna just keep them all. So I've got Bessie. I think the Bessie ones are the best. I don't have a lot. I'm not gonna say that thing that everybody says, because everybody says that. You know where I'm going with this. And then I just keep my sandpapers, my CA glues, and regular type on up top. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the shop tour. It's nothing fancy like some others. I do build a lot of furniture out of this. 16 by 16. I wanted to do a little shop tour because I got some big things in the works. And I want to see how everything has changed. And thanks again, guys, for watching. If you could you like, comment, subscribe, share it with your mother? I don't care what you do. I do plan on doing a couple more videos in the future, maybe. If you guys got an idea of what I should do, if you guys want to see any more things about my shop, let me know, and or follow me on Instagram and I'll send you a video on it. So, until then, take care and build something cool.